President of Romania, Klaus Johannes, and his Polish counterpart.
Welcome to this shortwave radio channel, and more observations. So, a lot of people are asking me what I think, and of course it goes from the person that will post and tell me that, well, this is the best radio I've ever purchased, to this is not what it should be. My opinion on it is, like I say, it's not a bad radio. And that's not what I am saying. But if I had paid the full price of this radio to have FM breakthrough and uneven single sideband precision, and not just that, just, no choice of bandwidth on single sideband, a radio might be beautiful cosmetically, but it has to have a minimum when you have a specific price point. A lot of things also that I've seen that are kind of interesting. I've had access to some documentation, including the service manual, and there isn't that much of a difference internally in this radio compared to the X. And I still am at odds on telescopic performance. I do have the impression that, no, it's maybe still deaf on telescopic a little bit. I need to do more side-by-side testing with the X, but I noticed that when I put them together with the telescopic on, the X2 doesn't have a stronger signal or anything. One thing for sure is that this signal indicator is useless. It's always full scale, even with signals that shouldn't be full scale. But I don't know. It's a mixed bag, If you buy it and you get it, you'll find that it's a nice radio. If you don't live too close to, FM stations like I do, with very powerful FM stations, you might be okay. But here in this environment, it's not everywhere that it performs well. I gotta use it, with specific things. For example, it doesn't have FM overload with the MLE30, simply because the MLE30 is not sensitive to FM frequencies, which means the radio doesn't get the strong FM frequencies like it does on telescopic. Airband is okay, but I am one of those that doesn't care about airband on a radio like this. Why? Because scanner radios scan 1,000,000 times faster the airband, which is what you want when you want to scan the airband. So I rarely talk about airband on most of my portables that have it, simply because I don't see the interest there, unless you just put it down to a specific frequency of your airport, and that could be of interest maybe for some, but for the rest, I think a scanner radio, even the cheap scanner radios, are 100,000,000 times better in speed of scan and performance compared to most of these on airband in general. The radio is beautiful. The sound, the audio quality is nice. It's okay. It's not extraordinary, but it's good. Of course, with earphones, it does have better sound and has stereo, which is really nice. There are some really nice things about it also. The display I like, and if you go on FM and start looking at the different capabilities of the RDS system, for example, the RDS system on this thing is absolutely superb, and it's really, really nice to have the RDS info and all of that displayed. The display is big, so it's really nice because you see it very, very well, and it really gives you a lot of information there for sure. Its performance on FM when receiving stations also was a question. It seems to be okay. I get 107.9, and I always say that Burlington station is basically the test for me if FM is really good. And definitely FM seems to be nice. I can't extend the telescopic much because, of course, it'll overload everywhere. But this is typical of every radio I have. Like I said, I live in an environment where it's kind of a rough one for telescopic antennas in radios on FM and so on. There's a lot of features on this radio, and this is also something interesting. There's the page functionalities that when you actually, want to record whatever preset of stations that you want and so on, the scan system is very complex and very unique in that you can set two limits of upper lower frequency range and have it search a specific frequency range if you want. There's, of course, the fact that the tuning is quite precise, even though off frequency a little bit, especially in lower sideband. In upper sideband, I have fair enough precision that I'm okay with it. But in lower sideband, it is off, and it's not off equally everywhere, also, which is kind of weird. That for me is a little, I had a few people saying, well, I don't care if it's not that precise on single sideband. You should, because if you would have to report a station and you're 1 kilohertz off in your display, you're 1 kilohertz off. You're not telling the frequency where it actually is, and it's important to have that precision, especially when a $50 radio is more precise than this. I mean, the Texan PL330 is better than this. That tells a lot. I mean, there's things that they should have checked out. I have a hard time with radios that cost this amount of money that can't be precise on single sideband. I'm sorry, but shouldn't be. I would expect that from a $60, $50, $70 radio. I would not expect that with a radio of this price range, for sure. For the rest, of course, the power supply that comes with it is nice. The power supply is very quiet. One of the only portables I think that I actually have that I can use a power supply and still tune shortwave, and it's not going to interfere. It's extremely quiet. It's really, really nice for that. And the display is beautiful. Wish that when you are actually not plugged in, that the display would stay on all the time. I'd like to have that. Unfortunately, it doesn't. I still don't understand why they did this variable bandwidth thing, which is if you have the winner of the crappiest new feature on a radio award, the award definitely goes to Sangean for the variable bandwidth, automatic bandwidth selection feature, which not only is useless, it's bad to a point where it's like, wow, I want to make sure that this thing is off for the rest of the life of this radio. This is the award I would give on that feature. As for the rest, yeah, tuning single sideband is nice, and it works well. I mean, you just tune the frequency range you want to listen to, and you put yourself in sideband. Of course, no selectable bandwidth is a little sad, but you can easily tune and adjust whatever you want to listen to. Going to see if there's activity in 20 meters. Not much right now. Press the center. So you know that this is probably 14310. Like I said, an upper sideband is rather precise, even though it's just a little bit off maybe. But it's okay. The fact that it tunes more precisely than the 909X is a welcome feature. I could go to let's go to the 40 meter band, see if there's anything there. It's a little early here for 40 meters, but it tunes well in single sideband, and it's a nice radio to use there, that's for sure. There's a lot of nice things on it also. And like I said, it's not a bad radio. If you have one, purchased one, you know, I think a lot of people that purchased one also are in the, you know, they've seen the how beautiful it is, and it's a nice radio. You're not going to be having a bad thing. You will be listening to shortwave, that's for sure. It's just that there are a few drawbacks. You know, we are hard on the radio, and maybe you're thinking, well, you know, you're too hard, too picky. You have to be hard and picky on a radio of this price because of the price. It can't have these flaws, you know. Some have been asking, is there going to be some more firmware updates and so on? I don't know. And I don't know up to what point these firmware updates actually are fixing anything. I'll be very fair here. I got version 070, which is the first version. But I've read enough about it to see that even if I would send it for 073, it doesn't seem to fix much. And I'll be waiting. I'll see if I send it in or not, and I'll see. Maybe I could send it in, if there's another future update of firmware to it. For the rest, there's of course some people reporting things that I haven't seen here. Some people are reporting deafness. You know, I did say that single sideband has a low level of audio, and so I'm wondering if when people report that it has no audio in lower sideband, stuff like that. Maybe it's just because it's quiet, because indeed the audio isn't strong on single sideband. So if you use it outside, you might find that it's hard to listen to hear what you're listening to in single sideband if it's noisy around you. Beautiful radio for the rest, a beautiful way, you know, keypad entry is nice, everything is nice on that side of the radio. The design is beautiful, and packs, you know, interesting features. We'll have specific videos of very dedicated features also on this radio that you'll be able to see. So it's up to you. If you buy one, there are drawbacks, but it does perform in general quite well. I think that's going to be okay. Lack of bandwidth on single sideband, I think that should be a think about it before purchasing. If single sideband, you know, ham radio utility listening is important. I think you have a better value in the Texan PL990X on that side, although it's not perfect, for sure. And heck, even a Texan PL330 will do has calibration, and you know, can be a better choice with the bandwidths that are available on it. I would say that it could be it's tiresome to listen to single sideband on the Sangean because of the fact that there's no bandwidth. There's kind of the background noise that you have is kind of a little high pitched, so it could be tiresome over time. It's definitely not. If I had to choose one that you know, I want to listen to single sideband, definitely the Sangean ATS-909X2 is not what I would choose as my first radio to listen to amateur radio or utility signals. So these are some of the observations I have. For the rest, you can make your own mind on this. But there's, you know, it's with all the hype that came behind it, this is, they call it the ultimate radio. No, it's not, and it's far from being the ultimate radio. That's for sure. If you enjoy my videos, please subscribe, give us thumbs up. Thank you for watching our videos.